KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
It's an issue we've been following. Loose and sometimes dangerous dogs. Now one pet owner says that 2 dogs that were dumped in his neighborhood cost him his beloved cat. How Animal Care Services says it's responding to neighbors' calls for help. But first,
the attack that led to a deadly shooting is now raising questions about a man who was killed. A Bexar County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed Ryan Stanish after the sheriff says Stanish attacked that deputy after attacking his own family.
Now, Saturday's shooting comes almost 5 years after Stanish was convicted of killing his girlfriend. As the Night Team's Lee Waldman reports, her family believes that Stanish should have never been released.
He made a real big impact on a lot of her students that she taught.
It's been nearly 5 years since they heard their sister Dorinda Ma's voice, but the grief is still ever present for her siblings.
You live day by day and you try to support each other and be there for each other.
In December 2018, Dorinda was pronounced dead shortly after being taken to the hospital with severe injuries caused by her then boyfriend Ryan Stanish. Stanish eventually pleaded no contest to a manslaughter charge and was sentenced to 10 years community supervision.
For years, our family didn't feel like it was justified at all.
Stanish made headlines Saturday morning after punching his sister and attacking a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy. That deputy shot and killed Stanish.
I think if they would have put him away then, this would have happened.
Dorinda's family says the special prosecutor on her case didn't feel they had enough evidence to convict Stanish on a murder charge, so the charge was reduced to manslaughter. Marta Prada-Pelias with Family Violence Prevention Services says domestic violence cases face their own set of challenges.
There are many of them, depending on the circumstances of the victim. And every case presents, I believe, a different set of challenges.
Pelias says that can range from victims recanting statements to judicial knowledge of domestic violence. Regardless, she says that's no excuse for not pursuing harsh punishment.
Her voice has been quieted, but whatever happened and whatever transpired can be dealt within the provision of the law.
Both Dorinda's family and Pelias feel Stanish's actions toward her were a warning of his potential for further violence.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because domestic violence is progressive. You can anticipate that someone who has been abusive at any level will reincite again.
Our KSAT Investigates team dug into court records. They found Stanish had violated his community supervision multiple times. The special prosecutor filed several motions to revoke his probation and change adjudication in Dorinda's death to guilty as recently as May 19th. We have that full investigation on KSAT.com. Back to you.
Certainly troubling. Thank you, Lee. Well, come back to work. That's what Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's message to the Texas House of Representatives was.
Patrick is challenging the property tax plan that was passed by the House during the special session.
The Senate bill does more for homeowners than the governor and the House bill, and that we're not eliminating property taxes. It's not possible.
So here's the deal. The Senate and the House are at odds over how to spend $12.3 billion that were earmarked for property tax cuts. The House passed legislation that aligns with the governor's wishes last week.
According to the Texas Tribune, Governor Abbott wants that $12 billion in tax cuts to be shared among both home and commercial property owners. He does not want legislation that includes a homestead exemption or an increase in the homestead exemption. That exemption would lower a property's value that can be taxed for public schools. Meanwhile, the lieutenant governor, unsurprisingly, supports the Senate plan.
Now, that would spend 70% of the $12 billion on tax cuts for homes and businesses, while using the rest of the money to increase the state's homestead exemption. Right now, Texas is a $40,000 homestead exemption for school taxes. The Senate plan would raise that to $100,000, but hope of reaching a deal in this special session is dim. The House passed its bills and adjourned for the special session, so that leaves the Senate to either pass the bills or call it a day on sending legislation over to the governor. However, the governor has said that he could call another special session. Now to a developing story tonight. 2 people dead, several more hurt after a shooting in Richmond, Virginia.
It happened during a high school graduation ceremony just a few hours ago. Details still coming in, but we do know a total of 7 people were shot, 2 died. They were both men, ages 18 and 36.
So right now we know that at least one person is in custody. That person is a 19-year-old who police believe knew at least one of the victims. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this story both on air and online.
We had a little bit of rain today, at least in parts of town and parts of south central Texas. As a whole this month, we're actually doing a little better than average, about 0.2 of an inch above average officially at the airport so far this month. And today we had just under 0.2 of an inch of rain, but a little below average for year-to-date precip. More rain opportunities in the forecast, but not forever. We're going to talk about the changes and the return of the heat high in just a bit.
Adam, thank you. Tomorrow marks 7 years since a convenience store clerk was killed, and we still don't know when the man accused of killing him is going to go on trial. The victim was 23-year-old Zachary Benavides. The suspect is DeAnthony Carter. Investigators say that Carter and another suspect robbed and killed Benavides at the Diamond Food Mart on Vance Jackson back in June of 2016. Now, the other suspect took a plea deal, but Carter's case has been delayed several times. About 7 of his defense attorneys have withdrawn from the case, but Carter's current attorney says that he is eager for his client to have his day in court.
I do believe that it's time for my client to get justice. It's been 7 years, and we're looking forward to a setting for trial.
And by the way, the death penalty is not on the table in this case. So if Carter is convicted, he would automatically be sentenced to life in prison without parole.
The Ford Motor Company recalling thousands of hybrid vehicles, and it's not the first time. 125,000 Escapes, Mavericks, and Lincoln Corsairs are recalled because their gas engines can leak oil or vapors and risk catching fire. Now, all these models are hybrids or hybrid plug-ins. That means people could keep driving with a failed gas engine. So far, 28 fires have been reported. If you have a boppy in your home, the Consumer Product Safety Commission reminding people they are not safe and they put infants at risk of suffocation. These boppy loungers recalled in September of 2021. They're not sold in stores anymore, but there have been resales found on online marketplaces, including Facebook. If you have one of these, the advice is to stop using it immediately and contact the boppy company for a refund.
Now let's go to your Nightbeat News Flash for a look at today's big headlines. We'll start with this. This week, UPS workers are going to vote to authorize a strike if their union does not reach a new contract by August 1st. If employees walk, this would be the largest work stoppage in U.S. history. UPS and its union, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, began negotiations last April and have reached an agreement on several major issues, but both sides are bargaining over pay increases, benefits, and better working conditions. The vote results will be announced on June 16th, in 10 days. For the first time ever, Medicare can negotiate lower prescription drug prices, and a major drug manufacturer is not happy about this. Merck suing over the move, calling it, quote, government extortion, claiming the law is unconstitutional. Medicare hasn't yet announced a list of drugs that it's going to negotiate prices for, but it's expected to target those high-cost medications. A list of the first 10 medications is expected to be made public in September. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie now running for president. That announcement coming today. Christie first tried to get the Republican nomination in 2016 and had supported former President Donald Trump, then became a critic of his. Now in 2024, he wants to be a viable alternative against Trump and the other GOP frontrunner, and that's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Today marks 79 years since the beginning of the D-Day invasion. It's also known as the beginning of the end of World War II.
On June 6, 1944, 150,000 Allied troops stormed the beach of Normandy in Nazi-occupied France. The troops from the United States, the UK, France, Canada, and other countries took on about 50,000 German forces in that operation.
The offensive, a turning point in the war that ultimately led to the liberation of Western Europe from Germany less than a year later.
Now, this year, the top U.S. general, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, is in Normandy to commemorate the anniversary of D-Day.
A local pet owner finds his cat killed. He says it's because of 2 dangerous dogs who were dumped in his neighborhood. Neighbors have called Animal Care Services for help. How they claim to be responding tonight. The push continues for stricter gun laws in our country. How families of the Robb Elementary shooting victims are making their presence felt in the nation's capital.
Several families of the Robb Elementary shooting victims are in Washington, D.C. this week, and they're demanding a federal assault weapons ban.
Today, the first day of the week-long sit-in outside of the Capitol. The sit-in organized by the cousin of one of the Parkland school shooting victims. The goal is to convince lawmakers to pass an assault weapons ban. Brett Cross, guardian to Uzziah Garcia, says they're undeterred by the hurdles they faced in the Texas legislature.
We've had such a fight with Texas that we haven't got to work on the federal level, but we've been doing this for the past year. So, it's another day, and we're not going to let our children's names or faces be forgotten.
Now, Cross is traveling with a specific group, and they plan to be at the Capitol for 23 hours a day. They also scheduled meetings with members of both the House and Senate. By the way, this sit-in is coming during Gun Violence Awareness Month. It's been more than 2 weeks since these dogs were dumped on a neighborhood street, and as of tonight, neighbors say they still haven't been caught.
Yeah, the dog's still out there. People living in the Timber Ridge and Terra neighborhoods say they have called Animal Care Services for help since this video was taken. It was actually taken on May 19th. But as the Night Team's John Paul Barajas explains, neighbors say the situation has turned deadly for some of their pets.
It's not their fault, they're dogs, but it still hurts my soul, it's my cat, it's my pet, it's my cat,
Sebastian Nada says his cat is one of at least 2 killed by loose dogs in this far west side neighborhood. Nada tells us the dogs are just trying to survive. He's even set out cat food for them in hopes it'll save someone else's cat.
That dog probably knows they've been doing wrong, but, I have no food. They're ribs. You can see their ribs.
This surveillance video taken May 19th shows someone dumping the 2 dogs in the middle of the night. Neighbors say multiple calls have been made to Animal Care Services since then. ACS told KSAT on May 26th that a trap would be set, but that didn't happen until last night.
This specific one, it was just, we had traps longer at some location. It does usually happen like that. We think there's probably about 13 that are good to go, that are not damaged.
ACS Field Operations Manager Amy De Contreras says her department has a total of 13 dog traps for use across the city. That now includes the one on Fabian Street, where at least 5 calls have been made for aggressive dogs since Saturday. But as of this afternoon, ACS has not captured either dog.
It's been this long and multiple people have reached out and absolutely nothing has been done is very disappointing. Right now it's pets, but maybe on a bad day, they'll see him and attack him. So it's very worrisome.
ACS says they prioritize calls that require more attention, like if an animal is showing threatening or aggressive behavior. Its staff recommends residents update their reports with 311 as much as possible with as much information as possible, such as what the animals look like, where they were last seen, and how the animal's behaving. And if a person feels they need an immediate response, they should contact SAPD. At Animal Care Services, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
And we're going to stay on top of that story. Thank you, John Paul. Summer school just got a bit easier for commuters via transit, offering free rides to select colleges and universities this summer. It includes all of the Alamo colleges, Our Lady of the Lake, Incarnate Word, Texas A&M, San Antonio, and of course UTSA. Via UPass offered to students, faculty, and staff. The guidelines vary by campus, but if you want more information, you can get it at our website at ksat.com.
Okay, awesome. Now let's take a live look outside. There we go. 75 degrees right now. All right. Also, I'm looking at some people out on the road. I'm thinking about what we saw earlier today. Lots of ponding on the road. 281 North was a mess.
Yep.
But okay, let's talk about tomorrow and rain chances then.
Yeah, if you missed out the past couple of days, you have more opportunities. That's the key here. A few more opportunities, but the coverage isn't going to be quite as aggressive as the past couple of days. Let's start with those rain chances. We'll keep it at 30% for tomorrow and Thursday, then down to 20% for Friday and Saturday. And that even may be a little generous, to be honest with you. But with the way this pattern's been going, it's been overperforming a little bit. And then notice how the spigot gets shut off by Sunday into next week. Hello, upper level high. Heat high is going to get a little closer to us. We'll talk about that and what it means for temperatures in a moment as well. Weather Authority radar showing the 12-hour rainfall totals. There's nothing out there right now, and the sky's cleared out quite a bit. Everywhere you see green and blue on this map, that's where we had rain, and green indicates a minimum of ½ an inch. The darker green is an inch or more, and this is a very drought-stricken part of our area. Kendall County into Comal County, 1.5 inches actually. near Spring Branch. These are Doppler radar estimates. That's right along 281. And then 1.3 near 1604 and 281. You get downtown, well over an inch of rain estimated by Doppler radar. We'll actually go a little bit closer into the south side here. And let's get near McCollum High School. All the homes within a few blocks of McCollum, anywhere from 1.5 to 1.8 inches of rain. Those are radar estimates, but our great KSAT viewers submitted this photo. 1.5 inches right there, just on the south side near McCollum High School. And we have one other photo that's 1.6, pretty much in the same area. So pretty good, impressive accumulations. Now, this is the drought monitor that we have right now. However, the new drought monitor comes out on Thursday, and we've had a good amount of rain that's going to be taken into account for the next drought monitor. For example, Tarpley, over 2 inches. We're going to put a dent in that drought. We've already done a pretty good job, especially since April 1st, but it's nice to have more rain to be taken into account for the next drought monitor that's going to be issued on Thursday. Pipe Creek, 2.31 inches. Fair Oaks Ranch, 1.83. But the data cutoff is Tuesday morning, so whatever we get tomorrow or even on Thursday won't be taken into account for the next drought monitor. You look across the state, we did have pop-up showers here and there, just scattered across the Lone Star State. Nothing severe, just some good maintenance rain for those with a lack of drought and beneficial rain for those of us that do have a drought. Now, there is a big disturbance over California that's not really heading our way, contrary to previous weather patterns in this damp pattern that we've had. We're actually looking at this little bump in the upper level flow. It's an extension of the Big Blue H, the heat high, that's just west of Mexico right now. It's out over the Pacific, just south of Cabo San Lucas, pretty far away from us, but it is going to creep its way closer in the days ahead. So notice how this upper level high, it's over Mexico on Saturday, Sunday, and then it even works its way, the center of it works its way into South Texas by early next week. That's going to turn off the rain chances and even crank up the temperatures a bit. Speaking of temperatures, 87, that was our high today, the average being 92. Now, by this time last year, we had 37 days that were 90 degrees or warmer. Several of them were in the hundreds. So far this year, 8 90-degree days, and the hottest we've had so far is 94, but I do think we'll get warmer than that in the days ahead. 77 right now. Tomorrow morning, we're at 68. By the afternoon, right at 90 degrees, partly cloudy, that 30% chance in the afternoon. 95 Cotulla, 88 Kerrville tomorrow, Rock Springs topping out at 88, Converse 89, and Elmendorf a high of 90. Then we get into the weekend, 94 Friday and especially Saturday. Then Sunday and Monday, we start to get mid-80s. We could even see some upper 90s, that is, mid-90s. At 96 Saturday, we could even see some upper 90s by next week. Something to watch and monitor.
All right, Adam, thank you.
All right, let's talk about the Cowboys and some of their big guys. And when I say big guys, I don't mean the stars. I mean big guys.
Big guys, their offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Particularly, we're talking about the left side of the offensive line at Cowboys mandatory minicamp. Tyler Smith, well, he's back to playing left guard. Plus, the Houston Texans rookies, sounds like they're doing a great job. Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys kicked off mandatory minicamp today at the Star in Frisco. 3 days of training. Tyron Smith was playing left tackle, meaning Tyler Smith was back at left guard. Last season as a rookie, Tyler mainly played left tackle after Tyron got hurt. And Tyler says playing guard is no big deal.
I mean, it's definitely like riding a bike. Like, you know, it's like the mountain bikes where you got to switch gears sometimes, you know. So just staying sharp on the footwork is like the biggest thing. You know, at guard, it's a little bit more of a phone booth. You know, you got to have quicker hands. Tackle is more space. You got to be quicker with your feet. So just like refining those little details again.
Out in Houston, the Texans today wrapped up another set of organized team activities. All eyes, of course, are on rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. First-year head coach D'Amico Ryans is pleased with how his rooks are coming along.
The rookies, they're all, as a group, they're doing well. I think you start with, you know, the two guys that we drafted first, you know, C.J. and Will. Those guys have done an excellent job with what they've been tasked. They've been getting better. I'm excited to see their growth.
MacArthur tennis player Riley Marfiotto is an honors student ranking first in her class, and she loves to give back. The senior recently started a tennis camp called Power Play. It's free for kids who are in the 6th to 9th grade. This camp is for students who may have never played tennis or otherwise never been able to participate in a tennis camp. Riley is coaching them with the help from other tennis players from around the area.
So one of the main parts of Power Play that I really wanted to touch is make sure that these kids get the experience that they may not have otherwise had. And a big part of tennis is the community around you. And so we're building up that power in the community and getting them more love for the sport.
I've been watching her since she was in 5th grade. She's an incredible kid. Inside the classroom as well as on the tennis court. She's a leader. She's just natural. She cares about the people around her. She always does her best to make everybody feel a part of something.
It's great emotion. Coach Hildebrand is so proud of her. You can hear more from Riley, Coach Hildebrand, and the other coaches helping on the camp this Sunday night on Instant Replay. The San Antonio Missions are back at the Wolf to start a 6-game series against Wichita. Left fielder Cole Cummings was recently called up to AA and is quickly making an impact. KSAT 12 sports producer Daniel Villanueva caught up with Cole today to get a preview of the Missions homestand.
Allowing a hit. The pitch is drilled to deep right center field. Zavala going back to the warning track watching, and it's gone.
With a lot of veteran guys in this lineup, guys that have some big league time, I get to comfortably hit in the 7 hole, it seems like, is where I find myself. So with that, there's not a lot of pressure. I'm getting a lot of good pitches to hit down in the 7 spot, and I'm just continuing to hunt fastballs and, just be on time. For the Missions, there's definitely a certain energy and culture here that, like, being from Southern California, I'm used to, but it's nice, and like it gets me back to kind of my roots, and I really enjoy the vibe out here.
What have you seen from this team so far? Because it seems like they're gelling at the right time, taking over first place in the division. Let's talk about what you can bring to that and try to close out this first half of the season on a winning note.
Yeah, so I mean, coming from my high A team, being with the older guys in the team, to now coming to AA and being with the younger guys, it's really nice that you got a lot of veteran leadership and guys that know how to do it and know what pro ball looks like. So for me personally, I'm in a good spot where I just get to go out there and play and compete and not have to worry about all the other factors, because I know I got guys in this locker room that hold the reins on that front. And then I think we're starting to swing it well, and we're obviously been pitching well all year. So seeing that all that come together, we're in a really good spot right now.
Good luck against Wichita.
Thanks. Larry, back to you.
Thanks, guys. So the Missions beat the Wind Surge tonight 6-5 thanks to a walk-off bases-loaded double. All right, the Rangers' $185 million man is done after the break. Texas Rangers ace Jacob deGrom will have season-ending Tommy John surgery, cutting short his first season after the right-hander signed a $185 million 5-year contract with the Rangers. General Manager Chris Young said today the decision on surgery came after an MRI on deGrom's ailing right elbow. Let's check in with the Astros and Blue Jays up in Toronto. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Blue Jays down 1-0 when former Astro George Springer goes deep to left center and out of here for a 2-run shot, 403 feet, and the Blue Jays never trailed again. So Toronto takes it 5-1, and the Texas Rangers beat the Cardinals 6-4. Rangers second baseman Marcus Semien extended his major league leading hitting streak to 25 straight games.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
You got
the tennis story, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
Now, you may have heard of some of the Canadian wildfires causing thick smoke and poor air quality in the eastern U.S. Well, you're looking at the smoke model here, and it's really wildfires from all across Canada being carried by the upper level winds into New England and even parts of the Great Lakes. And you look over the next couple of days, it gets pushed south toward the central Gulf of Mexico, but stays away from Texas. Around here, a few isolated or stray pop-up storms the next several afternoons. We think that tap's going to get shut off by no later than Sunday. And then we're looking at sunshine and at least mid-90s. Hello, June.
You're talking about those fires from Canada?
Yeah.
Watch the Yankees game tonight?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like clouds over Yankee Stadium, but it was those Canadian fires.
Good night.